What if we do it like that?
Just Livin. Actually sounds pretty good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Did you record that?
Yeah, it's being recorded right now.
You should keep that. Those were the days.
Stop singing actual stuff.
Oh my
What
God,
do you
that
think?
was so good.
That was good, right?
That was great.
Yeah, that's what I had in my mind. That was her first reaction.
That was really good.
The podcast
Let's
intro.
watch it again.
Okay, I'll watch it again, but it'll pick up the audio.
Okay,
So,
who cares?
one more time, and that's it.
Okay.
All right.
What if we do it like that?
Just Livin. Actually sounds pretty good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Did you record that?
Yeah, it's being recorded right now.
You should keep that. Those were the days.
Stop singing actual stuff.
I don't think I can love that more.
Perfect.
Truly.
Great. All right. Well,
That was good.
I'm Roscoe. That's my wife, Haley.
What's up?
This is the Just Livin', Still Living
Living.
podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah, living at the end of the second one. I totally botched all of that yesterday.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any intro. We talked about that on yesterday's podcast, so I came up with all of that in my head last night and then kind of put it all together with some audio and showed it to you for the first time. So you like it?
I love it.
Well, it's a callback too. I don't know if you could tell, but the logo itself is a callback to Steve. To Steve.
R.I.P. Steve.
Why don't you explain who Steve is?
Steve is, was it Scarlett or me that saw the first ever person put a skeleton on their antenna?
It was the video. We saw a video of it years ago. It might be 3 or 4 years now. It was a video.
Well, we had the Escape for 5 years.
Yeah.
So 5 years. Because we got it that Halloween that we got the Escape, and we bought the Escape in July.
We saw it. We saw a video of it, and we found Steve at like Halloween Express or Spirit Halloween or whatever. He was a skeleton that.
Just a little.
I mean, he was about
dinky skeleton, nothing crazy.
For people that are
nothing expensive.
Yeah, we have audio guys too, or audio podcast version. So yeah, we'll have to explain the podcast logo itself. You could probably see the cover art has a skeleton at a podcast table in our name. Steve was he was maybe like 14-inch skeleton.
Yeah.
That had movable parts, so like it wasn't stiff like a Barbie doll. He has like very loose limbs.
And we put him on the Ford Escape on the top antenna.
Yeah.
Just for Halloween. And then he just never left.
Yeah.
He just we bought a Christmas hat for Christmas. So like he had a sweater and a Christmas hat during the Christmas times. Mm-hmm. And then he just lived on our car all year round. I think the more that people stopped and stared at our cars, we were like driving through, like I remember Pittsburgh specifically, people in the streets were like pointing at our cars. We were driving down.
He wasn't that big either. It wasn't it wasn't gaudy.
It wasn't anything crazy either. It was just a little skeleton on the top of our car.
Yeah.
He lived through all the car washes.
Yeah.
He lived through all the crazy weather. Yep. He just was Steve. He was part of the family. We knew that's where our car was parked. We looked for Steve.
Yep.
Steve was, our sixth member, and yeah.
That's why that's why I made.
I like it.
We're skeleton group. We have a lot of skeleton stuff, but Steve, I was gonna add. Nowadays, even this, I told you this past Halloween era or season. I'm noticing it so much now. I said, we obviously didn't create the idea. We saw someone else do it, so it wasn't the trend that we started. But it wasn't like anything like it is now.
Yeah.
Now it's like all I see is
skeletons everywhere.
Jeeps in skeletons, they're driving, or massive skeleton heads on cars, or skeletons in people's yards that are doing fun things, which are fun and cool. But I felt like it kind of took away from the fun we had with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we left him on year round because I zip tied him, and it was a pain to undo it and then redo it. So I was just like, it's November, he's still there. And then Christmas came around, and I was like,
people
were saying like, there's a skeleton. And I was like, I cut like a doll's Christmas sweater and Santa hat, and I like got it stuck onto him. And we tried to do other things throughout the season, and yeah, it could be like middle of July, and people were like, "What?" But it was very easy to find our car.
It was.
So like if we were in a parking garage or in a parking lot or anything, you could spot Steve and go, Steve. "I'm over there."
Yep. And then the Escape died a tragic death.
And Steve's still here.
Steve's here
over there somewhere.
He's definitely here.
We didn't put him on the Bronco.
But when he was at Ford for the long time that they had our car, he got a little abused. He lost a leg.
Yeah, he did lose a limb.
Lost an arm.
That's when it was like call it quits.
Yeah, so when we were like, okay, we've got to get something new because our car's never coming back. We have what's left of Steve.
Yeah, and we just moved on from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the logo. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you got like the intro. I did make notes. I know not a script, but just notes to try to keep me on track. Because after watching and editing last night, doing the first one just to try to.
Did you discover that you're a rambling man?
Oh, I know I am.
Yeah.
yeah. We're doing it right now. I noticed. I noticed how much I touched myself. Like, I noticed how much I touched my hat. Like, no. To be serious, like, my tics, I guess, I hate that word. I know people have what are tics, but like, just I'm doing it right now. Just like not ADHD, but like continually taking my hat off, rubbing my hair, like twirling my hair, taking my hat off, putting it on, taking my hat off, and I was like, "What am I doing?" It's just like, that self-consciousness of like watching back what you were doing or listening to my mumbling. Yeah, it's something that like caught my eye, and I wanted to try to stay away from doing that. And so, yeah, I wanted to keep myself a little bit on track, not with a script, but sort of just like a layout of what, and sort of an agenda of how, not this episode specifically, but what I was thinking about for like future episodes, like what kind of cadence we want to do, what we want to do, what we want to talk about. Today's Saturday, the 23rd of 2024, and I felt like, which we can jump into it in a second, but I thought Saturdays could be the week that was. Like I love the last week tonight, John Oliver. I love the recap of the week sort of things. It doesn't have to be a recap of what we've done, excuse me, necessarily, but like what's going on in the world, what we can talk about, stuff we would normally talk about in here privately. We can just do it
publicly. Yeah,
we can do it as we're recording it. So I thought Saturdays would be good, like the week that was, sort of. I have other, days. You know this about me, and you can tell them I'm against like engagement days, like those spirit weeks or whatever you want to call them. Like today's National Cousins Day, or today's National Cookie Day, or today's National, I don't know, dress your trash can up day. There's like a national day for everything.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm doing here. Like, but with like a cadence of a weekly podcast. It's not like national or podcast day, but it kind of is. It's like this day we can cover this topic, or this day we can do this. So I'm learning, like I'm so, even after watching last night and the things I got wrong, I'm just a moron and a hypocrite, I guess.
I think moron is the right word.
Don't worry, I'll get into what we got wrong last night.
Okay. I think moron's a bit strong. I think you are
hypocrite.
Super controlling, but like in the good ways. Like I get why you have to be organized in your thought process and you have to control the situation. But I just love how we were like, this is not scripted. This is just us chit-chatting. And then Roscoe whips out a notepad and he's like, okay, well, today is Saturday, so Saturday is podcast day.
It's not scripted, but it's just like
it's guys, I can see it. I'm looking at it. It's bulleted. I'm just saying.
Just to keep me on track.
It's bulleted.
Just because I'm conscious of time and like I'm a rambling man.
This is not scripted. Here's my bullets.
It's not a script like these are the things I'm going to say sentence after sentence. They're just like points.
Yeah.
And, I have a friend that...
hey, I'm a list maker, so...
yeah, I was going to ask about...
Who am I?
I can go on tangents, and we did it last night on the first episode, and I want it to be cohesive to where, you're at least entertained. I mean, God, I don't know how long I talked last night about, this is where I want to go, and it was just getting the feet wet, and that's the end of it. I'm not going to continue talking about that anymore. I want to get to actual conversation that can be fun. I have a friend that I found out takes notes of jokes that his friends say, not steals their jokes, but when something funny happens in his life, he puts it in his notes. Because I had said something or I had made a joke or done something goofy, and he was typing in his phone, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm just writing that down so I'll remember it later." And he had like a full notes page, and he said, "I write down like funny moments, like memories, to go back to and think about." And I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of do that too." And I did it with this, and
we did it in New York.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we could do that sometime. Is just go through how you take notes or things. I have notebooks on notebooks and notebooks of notes, grocery lists. I mean, my notepad in my iPhone is just, it's wild. I'm curious to go look through it, but yeah, I did take notes. And to start it off, the first thing was, you said not to be moronic or anything like that, but to correct ourselves for things that we said wrong yesterday. The first thing was obviously the name of the podcast.
That was on you, babe.
Yeah. I said still living.
Yep.
And then just living.
Yep.
Because I was tackling back and forth between the two.
Yep.
And so it's both. That's just what I've and you had made it a point and said with a G or not? Because I said no G, because that's very Kentucky, hillbilly, doesn't sound good and doesn't sound great, doesn't sound good. And after my conversation, I heard of myself, I was like, oh yeah, there's no G. That's what drop the G meant in the first episode. And I'm so self-conscious right now because I know I'm doing it again. Like I'm just
wanting consistent. To touch your face.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And there's no stillness in that at all. I can't be still. I need to get a cup of water, honestly. Name of the podcast is Just Livin', Still Living Podcast. It's right there. I'm not going to get it wrong again. I felt like a moron watching it back. Diane Sawyer's from Louisville, not Katie Couric.
Okay.
Immediately was like, that's not right. Knew that when we were talking. I was like, how are we getting this wrong? And then Yondu. He doesn't have a blue streak in his head. He has an orange streak. And I thought that last night too. And I was like, that's definitely his.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Is he blue?
Trust me. We talked about.
Well, then is he blue?
Yeah, he's blue.
Okay, well then maybe that's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay. There were some other.
Again. What? Go on.
Quirks. Go on. There was some like. First of all, I was right about anonymity. It's the correct word. I said biased the wrong way. I should have said unbiased. There were stupid things I said. Yondu has an orange streak in his head, though, not blue.
Got it.
So, yeah.
But he is blue.
Yes. Sorry. Had to take a break and get us some water. It's so dry out here because it's so cold in the garage. It's cold out here and we have a heater running, but it just screws you up when it gets this cold. It really bugs me. I'm touching my hair. I need to.
Maybe Mondays should be. Does Roscoe have Tourette Mondays?
That's not funny. I don't have Tourette's.
I don't know. You have a lot of tics.
It's just anxiety, which we'll talk about.
Is it though?
Yeah. It's anxiety for sure. We'll talk about that's a good segue. I'll go over the agenda of what I'm thinking.
Can't wait.
Saturdays, week that was.
Yeah.
Sundays, off.
Okay.
No podcast.
And tell the people why.
Football. And the Lord. No, Sunday's Sabbath.
And the Lord.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Football.
Football was first, though. Let it be known that football was mentioned first.
Well, I mean, football's Sunday, Monday, Thursdays, Saturdays in December and January. So, but I'm dedicated. No, so I try to put some off days in here because realistically, like we're gonna be. I mean, I could do this for hours. Honestly, I really could sit here and do this for hours. Monday, Mental Manic Day.
Okay.
Stupid name, but I thought it would be a good time. What you're talking about me. A good day to check in, like, not be like serious day of podcast, but like your mental health day. You know, like I'm all about mental health awareness, sharing some helpful advice, talking to you about things, checking in on how you are. What are you doing? What do you need? What do you do? You know, like what you can share. I need it to be Monday right now. Yeah, Mental Manic Monday. You know, Mondays are the worst. Start of the week. But you want to be in a positive mindset, so start your week fresh.
Okay.
That's what I wrote. Tuesday.
Stop.
What?
If Tuesday is not Tequila Tuesday, I don't want it.
You can have tequila if you want, but it's your day. Tuesday's your day.
It's Tequila Tuesday, guys.
You can drink your tequila and TikTok Tuesday.
Ooh, tequila and TikTok.
So for our audio listeners, anybody that's just listening on audio, obviously you're going to want to tune in over on the YouTube side of things so you can see the actual video podcast. I can share my stream on my computer. I want you to bring me, this is your homework, just 5 TikToks.
Done. Please.
They got to be good.
That's so
They got to be good. You don't want to be the...
Now, that is an unfair statement.
What do you mean?
Because I find the silliest things silly.
That's good. This is all about you.
You don't think they're funny.
No,
but I think they're hilarious.
Yeah.
That's why I share them with you.
Yeah, we share TikToks almost nightly. We get together. That's one of the best things that I love doing is just sit down and share TikToks together.
I love talk time.
TikTok time. That's what we call it. But we share like 30 each every night, and then you go to sleep. So 5.
I
want to bring 5. You bring 5.
Done.
I think that's plenty of time.
Easy.
And you have your tequila. It'll be a fun day.
I can't wait.
We'll review them.
Okay.
And you will review them with us. Anyone that's watching the YouTube version, audio version, we'll record it for audio, but I can link dump them, I guess, in the audio podcast. Wednesday, Reddit day. We've kind of covered on our own personal time what I wanted to do around Reddit, and I said a little bit of it yesterday. I think it'll be a fun little engagement activity together. Thursday off. Obviously, this Thursday off because Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then Friday, just like free talk.
Okay.
Just a free talk like Friday, films, stuff like that. You know, love the film or anything really. Just free talk.
Okay.
And then Saturday, rolling back around to today, the week that was. So top news, headlines, things like that. I apologize. See, this is it getting raw right at the beginning. This is only episode 2. My throat is jacked up from the weather and I'm fighting it. But I don't want to be too apologetic about it because we'll talk more about it on Monday, I guess. This is just how this is right now in my life. Where was I?
I don't know. Refer to your bullets.
Oh, yeah. Saturday was the week that was. That's what I was going to jump into was this week's headlines, biggest headlines and stuff. But before I do that, I wanted to share, because I said this week coming up is Thanksgiving. It's a holiday time. I got them a little spread out. I put a little That could be the problem. It could be that damn candle I bought.
I bet it is because it stinks.
It could be. I love these candles. This is, if you're listening, I have like a woodwick candle. They make the fire crackle sound. It's very smelly holiday.
It's very cinnamon-y, and it's making me want to vomit.
I think it smells great, but maybe it's not liking, or my body's not liking it, and my little cardinal bird trying to make it festive.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah. Christmas time. It's the holiday time. The debate's going on right now. Like, do you start decorating for Christmas before Thanksgiving or not? What are your thoughts?
You know my thoughts.
Go ahead.
I am a firm believer in all categories. Okay, so all categories. If it makes you happy, just do it. Mm-hmm. If you've got a problem with it, ask yourself, does it affect my life? Is it putting my family in danger? Will I lose sleep over this? If you answer no to 2 out of 3 of those, shut up and let somebody else live their life. It drives me insane. I do not pay anybody else's bills. Nobody else pays my bills. So if I want to put my Christmas tree up on October 31st, I'm putting my Christmas tree up on October 31st.
You just have your skeleton year round too.
I have my skeleton year round. I absolutely love Christmas. Mm-hmm. Now, I love Christmas. 1, obviously my faith. 2, there's just something about the Christmas spirit. It just consumes you, especially when you're in a small town like we are. It just is that hallmark feeling of every shop has got Christmas decorations. Everybody's, got beanies on and jackets, and you got the holiday music and the chili outside. Like, I just love everything about Christmas time. I love everything about winter. I love to decorate because growing up, I lived with my grandparents a lot. I was always at their house. And my grandfather had like a secret, but wasn't a secret. I don't know. There was like a contest with the woman across the street on who could put out the most Christmas decorations each year. A real
Griswold
life
style.
Griswold thing.
Yeah.
Real life. That was my childhood growing up, is every year he would, I remember when we ate at Hometown Buffet all the time. Like all the time. Shout out to Hometown Buffet. I know that it's closed now.
Think they're gone,
yeah, they're closed, but you had the best cheesecake in all the land. I'll move on. These little, the little plastic cups that you put like sauces in, and you can put the lid on them and like take the sauce home.
I'm going to get to that. Yeah, that's a good segue for something I have.
Okay,
yes.
So like those little sauce cups, he got like a bag of them. And he went home and, sorry, I forgot to share everything. My grandfather is deaf. So my grandfather on my dad's side, deaf, and then my grandma and grandpa and my aunt on my mom's side are also deaf. So, it's one of those moments of like, what are you doing? Like, why do you need sauce cups? We go home. He takes out his, I don't even know what he used, a drill or maybe something hot, but he basically poked holes in the bottom of all these cups, went outside, took a string of lights, and shoved the light through each individual cup and then strung it all the way around his house.
Why?
Because in the dark, it would glow like a lantern. Okay. Instead of just being a light, it would like have this like glowing effect. Thought it was the greatest thing he ever did in his life.
My grandfather was like
proud
that too.
Of himself.
Always making stuff like
so
that.
So the next
weird.
year, he made more, and he hung them all over the house. So instead of just the front yard, now they're all over the house, and then they were all over the fence, like so that privacy fence he has over by the alley, all that's decorated. And it's just like every year between him and the lady across the street, it was who had the most, and who was the most creative.
Yeah.
Who found the trash and made it into something insane for the Christmas holiday. And my sister and I loved it. Like, we could not wait for the day where it was like, okay, I'm done setting everything up. Let's Griswold this, plug it in, make sure we got electric. We would sit outside for hours and just watch his house, then her house. And then all the neighbors would come out because he lives downtown. So it's like the whole 3rd Street is outside, like his house, her. Like, it was just, it's some of my favorite memories of all time as a child. And I think that really, really, like, drives my passion for, I want the biggest house too. I want all the Christmas lights. I want all the goofy looking stuff in my yard. I want people to stop and look at my house because I've got, a 14-foot Santa Claus that's blown up.
Which we do have.
And I think that he does need a friend this year. So I'm on the hunt for a friend for him. But, like, that's why I love it so much. So the moral of the story is...
The point of, is it too early?
It's not. If it brings me joy...
You need water?
Let me have it.
Yeah.
I don't need your mouth. I don't need your opinion.
Well, you want people to stop and look at it is what you're saying, too.
Yeah, no, sure. But, like, what I'm saying is, like, when you post a Christmas tree or you put Christmas lights outside, it's not even Thanksgiving yet. Oh, it's stop wishing my summer away. Well, it's over.
Well, you're reading just social media.
It's
almost
social media.
You're only hearing it because they're not putting it in the paper.
No, they're not putting it in the paper. It is all social media. But that's what just drives me, like, insane.
If you just didn't look on social media, you'd never see it.
For everybody at home, currently...
We don't have anything up.
We'd have nothing up because why?
Because we're hosting Thanksgiving.
Because we are hosting Thanksgiving and we're going to have a house full of people.
They would just clog it up.
I am someone who owns a 12-foot Christmas tree.
We have a big tree.
And you can't have 20 to 25 people in your house plus a 12-foot Christmas tree plus all of my decorations. It would just be too much.
Yeah.
So I promise you, the second that the last person leaves on Thanksgiving, I will be going to the storage unit and I will be putting up my decorations.
That's another thing. Our stuff's in storage because we don't have any space for it.
That's correct, because we converted the garage, so all of my stuff is in
and
storage.
most, I think that the majority of people do it after Thanksgiving, but I don't disagree with you. Like, do it whenever you want. My mom used to keep the tree up year round. Like the Christmas tree, she had the tree in the corner that was like a fake big plant that she strung lights on, and I saw it. We're seeing a lot more of it on social media, but like the people in the UK and like the friends globally that we have, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So like in their country, Halloween's over, Christmas starts. Like
absolutely,
they don't have Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
So like that doesn't even phase
I just
them.
had this conversation.
They're like, yeah,
yesterday.
It's holiday time. Holiday time. I think I read it. It was like October 31st is Halloween. November 1st starts the holiday season, which includes Christmas. You have your Thanksgiving day. So it's like Christmas for 3 weeks, Thanksgiving one day, back to Christmas or holidays, Hanukkah, everything until the new year. Like it's holiday time. So I agree with you. I say all this because I put the candle out today to get that smell, that fallish seasonal smell, which I'm regretting.
You can blow it out at any time.
I'm just trying to find an excuse.
It really smells awful.
Go ahead and blow it out then.
All right. Are you going to sing me happy birthday?
Just blow it out. Blew out the candle. Lots of smoke now.
I mean, I think it was clogging me up.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's the heater too. We went out last night to shop for some Christmas things. You did
not let me buy a single Christmas decoration.
Let me get there.
I had to sneak a Christmas decoration.
Get there.
We went to the greatest store of all time,
Hobby Lobby, to get your vinyl that you needed for your Cricut. But there were lots of Christmas decorations, and I'm saying this because I'm segueing it. It was crazy shopping yesterday. Consumer Central, there was a lot of people out shopping. And while we were out, we were like, oh, we need to get some dinner. let's get there's a steakhouse that we like. But it was so busy because everybody was out holiday shopping. It was only 6 o'clock. That I was like, I just want to take it home. Like, we'll get it to go and order it and go home. And I'm telling the story of what happened with our rolls. This steakhouse is known for their appetizer.
Why are you not saying the name of the steakhouse?
I mean, Texas Roadhouse. I don't know. I don't know. People don't know it. Maybe
just blurted out Hobby Lobby.
True.
So it just felt weird that you're like trying to censor Texas Roadhouse.
No, we went to Texas Roadhouse and took it to go because it was so crazy busy. But as we were ordering our order online, you can order like specific individual names for the order. So like Roscoe's order, Haley's order, and you combine them to one. Our 2 daughters ordered their food too. And then we talked about, when you're in the restaurant, they only give you like a couple rolls, for a roll each.
Yeah.
And you have to ask for more.
Yeah.
And we usually eat 2 each.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to order some rolls. And there was either a 6 count.
Yep.
Or 12 count. And there's 4 of us. So if we got 6, it would be 2 people could have 2 or we'd split.
Yeah.
So it was like, obviously we don't want 6. We wanted 8. 8's what we wanted, 2 each. But there was only 12. So I was like, fine, just get the 12. And for the name, I wrote the Fatzos.
Yep.
I did not realize when we got home and how many they had given us. First of all, they had already given us the 4 rolls with our meal plus 12. So we had 16 total. I took a photo last night as I was editing the podcast and doing things. I whipped that sucker out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to share it on the video. Explain what they did.
Well, are we sure that it was 16 rolls?
Yeah.
Because it felt like a lot more.
16. Like, it was
like
way too many rolls.
So many rolls.
Yeah, we didn't eat them all.
We had so many rolls that typically, again, back to our plastic cup with the lids for the sauces.
That's what they put. That's what those little cups.
Typically what the butter,
how much butter?
Cinnamon butter comes in. But because of the amount of rolls that the Fatzos ordered.
The Fatzos is what I named it on that. Everyone had their individual order, and then the roll additional said the Fatzos to see if they'd write that on the thing.
We got, would you say that's half
a pint? It's a pint.
It's a pint? We got a pint of cinnamon butter. I pulled that thing out of the bag and was like, good Lord.
Yeah, I'll share the video or the picture.
How many rolls did we order?
Half a pint, maybe.
That we needed that much butter. Because they still gave us the little sauce cup with the butter.
We had about 6 of those.
We had so much cinnamon butter that I was like, this is freaking insane.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of biscuits made, so.
So we put them in the fridge after dinner, because I had like a steak, a salad, a baked potato. We all did, and so like the rolls were way too much. Should not have ordered it. I put it in the fridge, and then last night it was late. Tales of the night is what I wrote here, because I'm the nocturnal one. I'm up late. You're up early.
So early.
Excuse me. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
The night times when I kind of.
The nights are hard.
I do my stuff and everyone's asleep. It was late last night when I was just editing and working on stuff, and I was like, well, I'm gonna get into the fridge.
Yeah. Well, let me get a roll.
I whipped that sucker out, and I was like, I got 2 rolls. And it was sort of like New York with the schmear, like just dipping it. Yeah. It was so good. Yeah. But then I left. Like I regretted it like midway through. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing to myself? Like, this is not. I could taste how like just unhealthy it was. Excuse me. And then I had that moment where I told you that picture of Tim Allen in the Santa Claus with the fat suit. I was like looking at myself, and I was like, Jesus, Scott Calvin. It's this stuff. It's this crap that I'm eating. This is the extra rolls. But the point I wanted to get to, I'm not going to do that again. Even though, it was great.
It's delicious.
Not going to do that again. Those little cups you're talking about, you all got baked potatoes. We all got baked potatoes. They put I just got like a buttered potato. The girls got like they wanted loaded for like bacon and cheese and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know who did this last night. There was a cup. Those cups had like shredded cheese,
bacon,
individual,
cream, butter.
And they're thick, big cups.
Yeah.
Our pantry door, we have a pantry in there. Remember, this is like 6 hours after dinner in the middle of the night. Our pantry has a door, but on the front, we have a hanging shelf that we put snacks and stuff on.
Yeah.
I was heading to bed late and walked past it and noticed a cup there, and I was like, why is there a cup there? And it was full of bacon bits from dinner. And I was like, who put that there? Why would they put it in the pantry? Went to go pick it up, and it was like the girls set a prank off on me. It just like fell, bacon bits went everywhere. As I was going to bed, like
nice.
I was walking to bed, like in boxers, nothing else, like just getting a cup of water, and was like, oh my God.
So then what happened?
Well, I wanted to call the dog.
But what'd you do?
I swept it up.
Wow. And threw it away?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was just one of the tales I had from last night. I was sharing that. Yeah. Who did that? Who put the bacon in there like that?
I had a guess. I'm going to go with Scarlett.
Why?
Probably because she wanted to save it for later.
I guess she didn't realize it was real bacon, not like the dry bits.
I'm not sure.
Okay. That was my story from last night. So we got to get to Saturday. What today is, the week that was. This was my agenda. And we've covered just about nothing except that. And my stupid throat. And me moving my hat and my Tourette's that you think I have. Here was the goal. Week that was, first one. I'm going to read out the headlines real quick to you, okay. let you see if you know anything about them and what your opinion is. How about that?
Okay, well, just so you know, what you do. I don't watch the news. I'm not on X. I'm not on social media like that.
Well, good. Then you'll learn some stuff.
Nothing.
All right. Biggest piece of news this week. Can you guess what it was? Like, if you were to guess, what do you think the biggest piece of news you heard this week was?
Are we not saying that it was Lake and Riley?
No, I didn't put her on here.
Was she not the biggest piece of news?
No.
Oh. Well.
Donald Trump's cabinet picks.
Oh, Lord. You know, he was going to be my second pick.
Well, yeah, he's obviously going to be
But since I'm following this Lake and Riley thing so closely, I've just been consumed with that.
The number one thing talked about this week was his cabinet picks. Matt Gaetz was his selected.
So I did hear that. I don't know who Matt Gaetz is, though.
You don't need to look him up then if you don't. He's it's got its own crazy story behind it.
Yeah, something about SA.
Yeah, just say it. Sexual assault. Yeah.
Again, don't know anything about him. Don't know who he is.
Mm-hmm. He's a congressman.
I only heard this because I read an article that said that The View actually got in trouble by ABC about him. They made comments about Trump's pick and picking him and, what kind of person he was. And they were, it's The View. They're very one-sided on everything. And then I don't know I don't care enough to know what her name is because I don't like The View. But whatever the woman is that's talking about it, she immediately goes like stone face, and you can tell that she's reading from a teleprompter. And she has to say, basically his side of the allegations that they're not real. There's no evidence.
You don't know yet.
It hasn't been, in court. He's caused them invented thoughts or.
Yeah, he's very standstill that it didn't happen. Which you don't know.
It was weird like that for the first time, because again, The View is so heavily on one side, which is why I can't enjoy that show, which we talked a little bit about yesterday. It was just funny to see that, now ABC wants to be like, you know what? You're not going to keep doing that.
Well, they've been talking about him for a while. But I get what you're saying. Like, they have to say his the other side of it. He was nominated for DOJ by Trump, but then withdrew his nomination because I didn't know this. It's not just because Trump nominates somebody. They have to be voted in by the Senate. And the Senate they didn't have enough votes for him. They said he's not gonna get the vote because of the allegations and things like that. So he said, I'm just gonna withdraw myself because it's a nuisance, basically, to cause a big pony show. So he withdrew himself from that, and Trump nominated a woman named Pam Bondi. She was the attorney general in Florida, which those are the biggest headlines regarding that.
Okay.
But other cabinet picks were big headlines.
Okay.
I didn't know these, and they're big talking points. Russell Vought is what I'm going to say. How do I pronounce the name? He's the director of Office Management and Budget, so the OMB. He's known as a cost cutter.
Okay.
Trump nominated him. The big interaction around him is that he is one of the, I don't want to say this wrong, he's an attributing factor of the Project 2025 outlook. Like he's a co-author in it. And
really?
Yeah. And people are like, yo, you said you weren't involved in this, but you're nominating a guy who was. I mean, there's more to come on how that plays out.
Yeah.
If you haven't read anything about Project 2025, it's out there and published. But Trump has already said he is not affiliated with it at all. But he is bringing someone in that is heavily affiliated with it. On the flip of that, which is crazy too, his Surgeon General that he nominated, her name is Jeanette Nisenwatt, if I'm saying it right, or Nizawat. This one shocked people today. I found out this just happened today. He nominated her as Surgeon General, which is, kind of like not the doctor of the country, but, Surgeon General. She is super pro-masking, super pro-vaccine advocate, and praised companies like Facebook for censoring misinformation regarding the vaccine and masking during the peak of the pandemic, and people are not happy that he picked that kind of person. They're calling her female Fauci. Yeah. I mean, she seems like a nice person from what I've heard, but they all seem like they could be nice, and then they're not.
The important thing is that they're all human.
Yeah. The important thing is just hope that...
And I think that that's what's forgotten.
Everyone just takes care of us is what we hope. Everyone
is human. Whether you agree or don't, you don't have to agree. Mm-hmm. But just because what I believe isn't what you believe doesn't mean that I need to be bashed or cut out from your life because we don't have the same views. And we don't need to bash people like this because they're still human.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it was a shocking pick.
Sure. But
for
again,
him.
If we're going to get on the topic of COVID, sorry, I don't want to put my arm there, which I know that you could talk about heavily because of your experience with COVID.
Yes, isn't the day to do it. I'm already over the 10 minutes I wanted to go over.
Are you cutting me off?
No.
I don't think that you need to wear a mask every day.
Sure.
But I do believe that if you are positive for COVID and are hell-bent on leaving your house, even though you know you should stay home, you 110% should have a mask on your face. And you should have a mask on your face until the 10 days are up. Period.
10 days is a long time, but yeah.
10 days is a long time, but again, even though the FDA or CDC is saying like a
day now, it doesn't even matter.
24 hours or fever free or whatever. When Riley got COVID and I went in there and talked to the doctor was very clear. Just because you're symptom free doesn't mean the virus is still not in you.
Yeah.
And can be spread. So as a precautionary to other people, be considerate, put a fucking mask on. Doesn't mean you don't have to stay home, but just put a fucking mask on.
I didn't mean to jump into that debate about
I know
masks.
you didn't want to talk about it, but it's a hot topic.
She's a mask advocate, and to have her be picked kind of shocked one side. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we'll see. Final bits of the week that was news. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but not on the podcast. Comedian, the banana painting, sold for $6.2 million at the Sotheby's auction. Banana duct taped to a white wall. Yeah. We discussed, how is it? I thought, maybe there's a part of this art piece that is what's the word I'm looking for? Keeps the banana from rotting. What am I thinking? Not preserves. What preserves the banana? Then we found out it actually is replaced. So like they take it off, and one person actually took it off while it was on installation and ate it, and they replaced it. When the guy who bought it, his name was Justin Sun. He's a crypto head for a cryptocurrency named Tron. He was quoted as saying, "For $6.2 million, the piece represents the cultural phenomenon that bridges the vessel of art, memes, and cryptocurrency. He plans to eat it first. The second he gets it, he's going to eat the first banana, and he is paid. It's so dumb, or at least I think it's dumb, and it's art and whatever. But he's given instructions on how to tape another banana on this white board, and that's the art piece. $6 million. It's insane. And we talked about it yesterday, like, oh, it's so stupid. Why didn't you do it? Maybe you could have sold it. But, like, I mean, come on. Is it a pun? Like, the title of the piece is comedian. Or not a pun. Is it an elaborate joke?
It's a joke. And I think, again.
And I'm an artist.
I know. But this is where we get into the part where when we talk, I'm comfortable with you, and I know that I can say what I want to say. Mm-hmm. But when we start to do it publicly, that's where I have my reservations. Because we're just not in a world now where I can say my true thoughts on something, my true opinions on something, without backlash or fear of my family being attacked or I being attacked. Like, seriously, it's very real, and it terrifies me. It terrifies me to.
I think when you talk about masking, that's worse than talking about the art. Honestly.
No, I didn't say what I was going to say about the art yet. That's the thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I haven't said it yet.
Go ahead.
This whole, you're just mad because you didn't think of it.
No, I just say that's my mindset on some art.
Sure, but who is sitting there going, you know what? A banana on a canvas with duct tape, that's going to sell. That's going to make millions. Brown paper bags
at the MoMA
is art.
Okay. I've told you.
And again, and I know that you want to stop talking here because we're over, but.
Yeah, we're a little over.
Going to the MoMA was an experience for me.
The Museum of Modern Art in New York City we went to. Yeah.
It was a truly eye-opening experience for me. Because we always have that silly little, we're not the who came first, the chicken or the egg. We're more of how do you know my green is your green? Because we were taught the color green. Mm-hmm. So how do you know that you're seeing the same color that I'm seeing?
Well, that's what art. I think I get where you're going with this. Yeah.
Right. Going to the MoMA with you, we look at things
way
completely differently.
That's art. I think everyone can look at art differently, and even a banana duct taped to a wall. Art is do you get expression from someone about it, even if it is this big ass joke? Who knows?
Yeah, the banana doesn't really do anything for me. I like things that are.
Oh, I think it's stupid.
I like sculptures, it's the famous sculpture of the guy holding the world on his back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense to me. The world's fucking heavy.
Or David.
Right? David makes sense to me. Sculptures make sense to me. Standing in line to look at the Starry Night.
Oh, I mean, it was worth it.
Yeah, you were like, I gotta get in there. And I was totally okay with looking at it from a faraway distance and being like, yeah, saw it, hanging up. I just don't see art like that.
I don't see this art. I mean, 6.2 million. There's a value on it. Banksy's another artist that obviously has gotten
Banksy
stuff like that too.
But I think that's the point. Is like I like art that's got.
There's more meaning to this than I think we know.
Yeah, that rich people will spend money.
People
on
are saying it's just laundering money. It's a way to launder the money.
100%.
Well, nothing's 100%.
But again, that goes into another conversation for another day. But like, we don't have 2.6 million or 5.6 million. 6.2. 6.2 million.
6,200,000.
We don't have this kind of money to spend on a banana and duct tape. We will never have this kind of money unless, this podcast takes off and we go crazy. Or we have a future celebrity in our house that we don't know about. But we will never see this kind of money. If this was the money that I was given, the things that I would do, and I promise you duct tape and a banana, not in there.
Yeah. I mean, I just the headlines of the week. That's all I wanted to cover on it.
Okay, well, sorry for going on my
No, you're fine.
Soapbox.
That's why we're here. Those were the big, the top 5, top 4 headlines that I could find and bring up to see if you'd known about, which I didn't think you knew a lot about them. Because you don't, what do you call a headline, I guess? What news, where are you getting your sources on what's going on? So,
Mr. Anderson.
Look at me. I took my hat off again. I apologize to everyone listening and watching if my ticks annoyed you like I know they annoy me as I go back and watch them. But I appreciate you being here and at least listening to our opinions and values again. If you did come back or nobody watched, like I said, doesn't matter. It's for me. Anything to say? You like that? Outro has nothing, but I mean, intro's good to go.
Can we watch it again?
Yeah, we can watch it one more time.
What if we do it like that?
Just living. Actually, sounds pretty good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Did you record that?
Yeah, it's being recorded right now.
You should keep that. Those were the days.
Stop singing actual stuff. All right.
That was good.
It's been almost an hour to the moment. So we're 30 minutes longer than yesterday's, which will gauge out our time on these things. That was our scripted podcast, the week that was, headlines and side stories that we had. We'll be back on Monday because of the Lord on Sunday, not football.
Nice.
We'll be back Monday with mental manic.
Can't wait. Definitely need that on Monday, the Monday for Thanksgiving.
Just living. Still living.
Yeah.
That's us. That's all we're doing. Go ahead. Whatever you'd like to say.
Okay. I'm going to close it out like I did yesterday. I love you.
I love you too. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.